Aquarius. We're going to go over the astrology for Aquarius risings first, and then we'll go on. So anyways, all right. So hello Aquarians, and welcome back to Deku Tarot. We're going to do your astrology for August 2022. And sorry, it's a little late. It's been a crazy busy month, and this is the soonest I could do this. And yeah, so we're going to do your astrology first. So when I talk about the astrology, I'm referring to it in the fact that it's about Aquarius. It's for Aquarius risings. So figure out what your rising sign is, and you can go listen to the first part of whatever video that coincides with. Like, I'm a Cancer rising, so I would go and listen to the first part of the Cancer video, and then I would probably go and listen to the Taurus video because I'm a Taurus sun, or a Virgo one because I'm a Virgo moon. So all that kind of stuff. You can listen to whatever video you want to after that, but if you're looking for your personal astrology, I would say figure out your ascendant sign and listen to that, okay? So, August 2022 astrology for Aquarians, for Aquarius rising here. So Aquarius risings, let's talk about this. And if you guys haven't, do make sure to follow me over on Twitch. We go live all the time, and it's really fun. And I'm trying to move a lot more of this stuff over there because it's a lot more versatile for me as a creator, okay? So thanks, guys. And if you haven't, over here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, give me a like and a comment. And I really appreciate it because it does help with the algorithm. Thank you. All right, so Aquarius risings. We're going to go back to the beginning of the month, even though we are reading this on the full moon in your sign, Aquarius. You have a first house full moon today as we're doing this reading. But we're going to talk about what brought us up to here in terms of astrology. So beginning of the month here, really the first week has a lot of stuff going on. The first week of August, we had the Mars, Uranus, North Node, all in Taurus. They're all there on Taurus, and that's all in your 10th house of... wait a second, that's not your 10th house. Mars is your 10th house, sorry. Mars is your 10th house ruler, but I was like, Taurus is your 3rd house. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Aquarius, Pisces. No, it's your 4th house ruler, right? Yeah, it's your 4th house ruler. I'm wrong. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus. Yeah, it's your 4th house ruler. So sorry about that, guys. So, but Mars is your 10th and your 3rd house ruler. So of your 10th house of career reputation, your legacy, your 3rd house of neighbors, tech, communication, short distance travel, siblings, the annoying things that 3rd house rules. Is just like, there's so much. So you can see a lot of abrupt changes there, but especially in the home living family situations because all that's in Taurus in your 4th house. So we could have some issues and some upheaval, some abrupt shifts and changes, some unexpected stuff happening in, again, your 4th house there. So maybe involving siblings, your career, your people around you, tech and communication. And give me 1 second because I am expecting somebody to stop by. So I need to put my phone on vibrate, unfortunately, so I can be aware when I need to pause. And then we also have Mars squaring Saturn that first week. And again, your 12th house ruler there is in your 1st house. So there's a lot of, like, I'm talking about Saturn there. And that's a lot of self-sabotage and a lot of fears about yourself. And you're going to realize that a lot of these fears about yourself are blocking you. All these, like, you're going to really be aware of your own self-sabotage, your own fears that you have said, like, oh, like, for example, like, you want to move on, but you can't because you're like, oh, I'm not ready. Or like, you have all these things in your head that you've told yourself, but it's like, wait, now you're going to be able to see and start to notice like, oh, I'm blocking myself from moving on, or I'm blocking myself from, being able, like, I'm my own worst enemy here. A lot of the fears about myself are really like the fears that I have for moving forward. And like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Are the things that are blocking me from getting where I really want to be and being the best I can be. So, also Saturn, and Aquarius is in your 1st house there. So again, feeling more serious about a lot of these, like feeling a lot more serious about just a lot of things in general, a lot of your health aspects as well, and problems with your home, because all that 4th stuff are really going to go, all those issues all these little things are going to go wrong. And you're going to feel like a lot of pressure on you to figure things out and like how to solve things. And you're just going to feel a lot of pressure in general over this, like even if you don't know what to do. So again, that's kind of the first week of August. Aquarius risings. We also have Mercury moving into Virgo, which is good because again, that is where it wants to be. Mercury is domicile in Virgo, and so Mercury enters your 8th house though of shared resources, debt, death, and others' money. Excuse me, let me just have a little water here. I'm getting a little thirsty. It's been a long time of talking now. All right, actually, give me 1 second here. Okay. Just wanted to let her know. Okay. So Mercury again. Mercury in Virgo. It's in its domicile. It's entering your 8th house, though, of shared resources, debts, and others' money. So there's going to be a lot more focus and fears on surrounding things that aren't yours, that you owe, that you're in debt to, or people that you're in debt to, things that you're in debt about. So there's going to be a lot more focus there. On August 11th, which is today, we have the full moon in Aquarius. We have a full moon in your 1st house. Oh my gosh. Aquarius risings. And we also have Venus entering Leo. So the sun is in Leo in your 7th house of relationships. But the full moon is in your 1st house on Saturn. And so there's really something about relationships that is just not working. It needs to be reworked here. That maybe, like, you're saying, like, I need to be more serious about this. Relationships in general need to be more serious. Like, people that I'm dating aren't serious. So there's something about the seriousness of this that is like, either you need to take it more seriously or other people need to take it more seriously. Is how you're feeling. But there's also a lot more potential for fun, though, when Venus enters Leo. I know it's, like, not comfortable for you guys, like, maybe with all the other stuff going on, but there's, like, a lot of fun that can be happening. There's a lot more potential for it there. Because Leo is a more fun sign, especially in Venus. But it's also, like, it might be more fun, like, coming up there, but are you enjoying it, or is it just the other person? Do you feel distance where, do you feel distance between you and the other person if you're dating somebody, or you're with somebody? Like, where are we feeling distance within these relationships? Like, again, 7th house, like, romance types of relationships is what I'm kind of more talking about. It doesn't only have to be that, though. So where are we feeling our distance in these relationships, and where are our needs really not being met? Hello, Toledo. Holy Toledo. I feel like there's a song. I'm not going to sing it. That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassing myself. And hello. Nice to meet you guys. Welcome to chat. We are doing the Aquarius Risings Astrology. And then we're going to move on to their tarot. And then we will do Pisces Rising Astrology. And then we're going to do Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising Tarot. So we're talking about the full moon in Aquarius, which is today. And for the Aquarius Risings, like I was just saying, this is kind of a big day because obviously this is a full moon in your 1st house. That is really big in terms of if you want to manifest something about yourself, about your life path. 1st house, like how I want to feel, how I want to look, what I want to be doing. Like, this is a very good time to focus on, like, where you want to be. Like, full moons in your 1st house are like the times to kind of check in and be like, I always see it as kind of like a birthday. It's like your half year birthday, kind of, or whenever, it doesn't matter like what your rising is, like whenever your birthday is. This is like a second, like, little birthday wish you kind of get to make here when the full moon is in your ascendant sign. So, yeah, Sun is in Leo in your 7th house of relationships, but the full moon is in the 1st house on Saturn. So, again, there's something about relationships that is not working, that you feel like that needs to either, like, be met in a more serious way, or you need to be more serious about relationships. There's a seriousness that is not, that you need to inject into relationships that you're feeling that way about, okay? But there's also the potential for more fun when you're in relationships when Venus enters Leo. But it's also, you have to ask yourself, are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it? Maybe the other person is, whatever, but, like, are you actually enjoying yourself? Is this what you like to do? Is this the things you are enjoying within this relationship? Or where do you feel distance within this relationship or between you and the other person? Where are your needs really not being met? What needs do you have that you've now discovered are needs for you within a relationship that you are not meeting or communicating? So it's going to be very much like you versus someone else at this moment, you versus just relationship in general. You could even be focusing on an ex relationship, being like, where are my needs not met? Like, learning what you can from that at this time. And it's also going to be focused very much on you. You're going to be focused on yourself of, like, where am I not showing up and doing the work? Like, especially in terms of not just relationships, but maybe even with family, with your living situation, things of that kind of nature, your close friends. And then on August 20th, so that's kind of just today there, like talking about all that stuff. On August 20th, we have Mars moving into Gemini. And this is really big, guys. August 20th is a pretty big day because when Mars moves into Gemini, it's going to be there for 8 months. And Mars rules your 10th and 3rd houses and is now in your 5th house, actually, which is good because the 5th house rules creativity, pleasure activities, children, sex, all types of enjoyment and pleasure, what you do for pleasure. So I always say it as like 5th house is what you enjoy and how you connect with others in terms of your hobbies, activities, pleasures, and 11th house is your friendships, your groups, your networks, and how, like, you come together. So 5th house is, you know, what brings you together. 11th house is your group. So yeah, we have again, like, Mars ruling your 10th and your 3rd house. So your 10th house is all about how what is it, like, your legacy, what is the word I'm looking for, your I always see it as like your front-facing self, how the rest of the world sees you, your public face. Yeah, your publicity, your famous aspect, whatever, like your social media face, how you are out there, like whatever you're doing with 10th house stuff. 10th house is very public, so I always see 10th house as like your public aspect, your title for a work thing, how you're perceived by the rest of the world. And 6th house is what you're actually physically doing in terms of work. And your 3rd house there, so again, Mars rules your 10th house there, and also your 3rd house of communication, siblings, neighbors, short distance travel, communication, tech, and it's now in your 5th house there. So it's really going to have you focusing on like, do you need to have like more fun and creativity with what you're doing? You could be really like saying, I need to enjoy what I'm doing more. I need to have more fun with it. It needs to be more creative. If you're in an artsy job or if you're a creative person, you're going to be really seeking out something that fuels that desire more, that really is a lot more creative and fun with what you do every day. At this time, also, we have Mercury entering shadow and opposing Neptune there. And that's happening in your 2nd house, a 2nd house of money, resources, your wealth there. And it's going to feel, this is going to be a weird moment though, because I feel like in terms of everybody, it's going to feel a little bit off and not right. Like what's going on here, you're going to feel like something is off, but not be able to fully define it. You're not going to be able to really see, you're going to feel like confused about, what you owe, what is yours, what do you not owe, what are other people's, what belongs to other people versus what belongs to you. It's a lot of going to be some weird 8th house stuff there, because again, that's happening in your 8th house opposite Neptune, and 8th house is about deaths, debts, other people's resources and money. And Mercury's also going to dip into your 9th house later, and that's going to be a little bit better and more in terms of your spirituality, long distance travel. We'll talk about that at a different time though. On August 27th, we have the new moon in Virgo, and that's also in your 8th house. And that's not going to feel super great for you guys, because 8th house is, again, debts. It's what you owe other people, death. It is, it's all that kind of stuff, like, again, things that shared resources as well. So it's kind of going to show up in your blind spot though, like, because again, it's going to be a rough moment there. You're going to have to you're going to be shown some things that you're going to be like, oh shit, I should have seen that months ago. It's the blind spot. It's like, oh, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I know that beforehand? It's going to help you to because it is Virgo, you will be able to get yourself organized. You're going to be able to get these things down though. You're going to be able to deal with these things and be able to focus on that blind spot. And it's also going to be squaring Mars in Gemini. So again, that's going to help you pay off debts. It's going to help you to be responsible, but it's not going to feel great. It's going to feel like stressful, and it's going to feel like it's getting in the way of you being able to make these like more creative 5th house moves, especially in terms of work that you want to do. Some more creative career aspects are going to feel like they're getting pushed down because you have to deal with all this other bullshit and organizing all this 8th house crap that is just not enjoyable. Venus is opposite Saturn, squaring Uranus and Taurus. So again, that's Venus and Leo there, opposite Saturn in Aquarius, squaring Uranus and Taurus. So that's a lot. So that's a lot of 9th house stuff in terms of, publishing, spirituality, far distance travel, higher education, astrology, like even some social media stuff there. And it's going to feel very destabilizing, and it's also going to kind of hit that living situation stuff there. So it's going to, with that 4th house with Uranus and Taurus, so there's going to be some destabilizing aspects with living situation stuff that is going to put pressure on you to need to get your shit together, and you're not going to feel like you're going to have the time to deal with these 9th house things that you actually want to focus on and deal with. So that is your month in terms of astrology, Aquarius risings. I know that's